Crazy how time flies. Evening, how's it going? Okay. We got a chance. We got a chance. Is it the hat that does magic? Maybe. I don't know. Chrissy boy, how's it going, buddy? How you doing? How you liking our new place? My router will finally get here today so I can finally have some internet. Let's go! Scalp. Fuck. Have you seen the episode? I have not, access. I have not. Bro, God of War 2018 list is buns? Motherfucker, I wasn't talking about 2018. I was talking about old school God of War for fighting music. There's no way old school God of War has bad fighting music. Stop it, Scoop. Oh, let's go! Place is fine. Need to do some cleaning though? Yeah, of course. Yeah, but old school is only fights to the death, bro. I'll check that out. Why do we care that it's only fights to the death? I'm sorry, the guy who does lobotomies regularly has some issues with that now? Oh, sorry, the gal. Sorry, my bad. Wait. Do we now? Okay, this is a weird question. I don't know, does the community have some kind of consensus on this? I will reach my own mind, I just don't have one yet. Do we call Lumin a boy or a girl now? Do we refer to him as a he or she? Now listen, I will mention this once, just in case Dr. Z comes. I don't want to mention this later, because she's always going to be like, oh well. Okay. Yes, I'm eating some onion rings right now. Yes, there is whiskey in here. Not only, but that's part of it, okay? I don't want to talk, I don't want to hear no shit. Oh no, how's it going, buddy? I'd say he because he still thinks he's a guy. I agree. Why am I being an American? I don't know what that means, bro. I am North American. No matter how far. Crosswalk, boardwalk, catwalk, firewalk. That's a red herring, right? Wallflower, where have you been, buddy? I missed you. I only skipped yesterday, no? You gonna shake some ass on stream? At least if you say so very nicely, maybe. Hehe. I'm sorry, I don't think I've seen you here before. How's it going? Wild first message if that's your first one in chat, by the way, but hey, you do you, man. No judgment here. I'm working right now, so I can't type much during the first part of the stream. No worries, Zoot. I appreciate you being here, buddy. How you doing? Single sad teardrop. Is that Dr. Z? It would seem relatively close to her naming convention. Yep, you. Okay. See, boys, that's why I talked about it before. I mind melded. I knew she was gonna be here. Don't go back and chat, okay? Don't go back and stream a couple minutes, Dr. Z. You don't need to know. You're just... There's no point to this. Aw, sorry, youth. I know, buddy. Do you at least get Sunday off at least? I'm going... No, for fuck's sakes. You do? Alright, well, in that case, just a couple more hours, buddy, and then you got a day off. It's okay. You'll get there. You'll be okay. Alright. We can do a relatively longer stream if you guys want. Because I don't have any plans for the next, like, 4 hours, so I'm laughing. I'm at home alone, so I don't need to leave early to help someone else with some other shit either. We're laughing. Okay, catwalk, model. I'm out and about, so I'll be listening but not active in chat. No worries, buddy. Three back-to-back ads as usual. Thank God. YouTube, how is... I don't even know. Who's the fucking new CEO of YouTube? It's not Susan anymore, right? I don't know. I don't even know. I think she changed. I don't know who the new one is. God, think about their children, Nagato. How would they feed them if you're not watching 3 ads back-to-back? Get it together. No, what's up, Nagato? I do not care about the connections. We're moving on. Sharon. Whoa, okay, nothing. I'm stressed out. So what happened, buddy? The exam? But, by the way, Chris, why the fuck do you call me American? Explain. Do you drink it? Ah, for fuck's sakes. Dr. Z, I told you not to go. Wait. I said it specifically then because I knew you... I don't know. I had a premonition that you were going to come today, and I was like, bro, if I mention this later... Yeah, I was like, bro, if I say this later, she's always going to go, as soon as I come and you're talking about drinking, you're a fucking lunatic, okay? And I was like, no, I'm going to mention it, like, right away because someone's going to ask about it at some point because I'm not exactly the best at hiding it. And I'm going to mention it right off the bat and get it out of the way, okay? And then you go back anyway. What the fuck was the point of all that? The Arabic exam? You're going to do fine, Nagato. Listen. One of two things is going to happen now, okay? Either you've studied well, and at this point you're just nervous, at which point you got to realize you've done all you can do. Apart from that, what's going to happen is going to happen. There's no point in losing your shit about it. It's not going to help anyone. Just go get some food, go to bed, whatever time. I don't know. It's got to be bedtime for you about. Go to bed. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. No point stressing about it. It doesn't help anyone. Or two, you have not studied well enough, in which case you need to go, listen, I made my bed, now I gotta lay in it, okay? Either way, stressing about it is not gonna do you any good. Right now, I'm gonna say, yeah, you're good. That's how I always usually think about it. Listen. If I studied, which rarely happened, but in the off chance I did, I'd be like, listen, I've done all I can. At this point, what's going to happen is going to happen. Much more likely that I haven't studied, I go, listen, I made my bed, I gotta fucking lay in it now, okay? That's it. A male later in the series. That's trigger. That'll affect total grades the most? Listen, if you've studied, then you shouldn't be thinking, wow, this is gonna affect my grades the most. You should be going, listen, this is gonna bump up my grades the most, okay? Because at this point, you've done the studying, okay? You've done the hard work. Now, as hard as it is to kind of mentally change that yourself, you gotta remember, how you perceive things will materially affect what will happen to you. It's just objectively true, okay? I completely believe you, Dr. Z, but exam is an exam, right? Any Arabic can be switched out for any, you know, difficulty, any exam that you find difficult. A person can be like, listen, I'm really shit at physics. I don't know, it's the same principle. Principle is, listen, once you've done the studying, there's no point in you going, man, what if I fuck this up? You go, listen, I did my best, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to just pour my heart out. Beyond that, what it is what it is. But, of course, good luck, Nagito, of course. Male even later in the series. Fuck me, Jesus. Zarto? Oh, I guess Zarto was mentioned early. Fuck. Come on. Ancient Sun God. Above the sequences. Nice. Okay. That's something. Someone who's above the sequence. Celestial worthy? Nice. Let's just do the quote one, and then we can... I'm very confident in my intelligence. I'm on. Emlyn? This would be something arrogant. It would be something arrogant enough for Emlyn to say. Outer Worlds? No, not in like 8 hours now. You're in like 2 or 3, man. Alright, so you'll probably be asleep for it. Don't worry about it. Go to bed. Emlyn. I'm very confident in my intelligence. You shouldn't be, little bro. I never felt like... I never felt like... Fuck! Oh, come on! That's so sad. Baby, still with me. Alright, let's just do a couple chess ones because I don't think Kami's back yet either, and then we can go. Once Kami's back, we'll just leave midway and then start reading. Okay. Alright, how's it going, man? Gonna study some more? Not a bad idea. It's fine. Alright. You heard him, boys. I mean, it's fine. You can keep playing. No, I'm good to read. I'm good to read. We're moving along quickly. You know, we gotta keep going. Hi, Nat. No worries, Nagito. Bye, buddy. We'll ping you when we start doing Outer Wilds if you're still awake. Okay. But if you can, please don't stay up on my account. Go to sleep. You have an exam. But I will ping you all the same, okay? Hi, Nat. I think I said hi already, but I can't remember. I will say, as a whole, our community, I don't just mean like my community, like you guys, I mean like the whole, this entire, like my community, Dara's, Easy's, as a whole, is genuinely very positive as a community and like amongst the most positive online communities I've come across. So like I'm I genuinely enjoy that bit. I feel like if you go online and you say like, hey, I have an exam somewhere, most online communities are gonna be like, kill yourself. There's just nothing. You don't get anything if you take the kids out. Oh, Milos isn't that bad. I'm kidding. 894. After Jenna changed into her clothes, she recounted in her full current state and the information she had just obtained from Crismona. Milos is more mature than those motherfuckers. Even though he is a child. Oh, yeah, we'll do. Alright, 1 second. She said with regret, the time was still not enough. I could only see Crismona for that very short period before fully enduring the potion and regaining complete consciousness. However, next time I'll be able to clearly ask what that terrifying matter is. Lumin looked around and said, just now I could only sense Crismona's residual consciousness appear, but I couldn't see or make contact with her. Maybe because she is one with the seal of the catacombs itself, or because she possesses some special quality that allows her to exert more precise influence on demonesses. I think it's all of the above, Franca said to Jenna. I've always thought the greatest danger for female demonesses was the primordial one's hatred, that we would be interfered with during advancement, and even if we could struggle through, we would be hunted down by the demoness sect after the fact. I didn't expect there was also this hidden problem, this terrifying matter that Crismona speaks of. It even makes the primordial wary. It is very likely related to the deepest secrets of the special mirror world. Do you wish to consider switching to the hunter path and then jumping back to the demoness later? I want to wait until I understand what that terrifying matter is before deciding, Jenna said. As Lumin's experience, she wasn't actually as averse to changing genders for a period of time rather than permanently. Jenna paused, then said, with a self-deprecating smile that was half sighing, I've lived in Quartier de Jardin Boutique in the Market District for so long and have seen so many things. One thing I've learned is that if you don't have the value to be used by others, it is difficult to break free from the mire. As a pure female demoness, possibly linked to the deepest secrets of the special mirror world, this is the key reason I was able to receive a warning from Lady Crismona, and later unable to join the demoness sect if I want to digest potions faster, advance better, and resist the tendency to madness. This should also be an important factor. There should always be high-level figures who want to use female demonesses to do certain things, to touch the deepest secrets of the special mirror world, so they'll give me certain benefits. Relying on the major arcana holder is one way, but it can't be the only one. Lumin fell silent for a few seconds before saying, before encountering that terrifying matter, you should still wait for the opportunity to question Crismona's shadow. We will decide whether or not to take the risk after we understand the nature of the problem. Right, Franca agreed. When advancing to Demoness of Despair, you should be able to make contact with Crismona once more. That way, the terrifying matter won't appear at least until the Demoness of Unaging state. This is the last option, Lumin shook his head. We can't assume Crismona is necessarily good in telling the whole truth. Perhaps pure female demonesses encounter that matter at the Demoness of Despair stage and Crismona is waiting for this accident. The opportunity I'm talking about is in a few days. We should be able to enter Mr. Fool's dream. True! With a good chance of being imbued with Mr. Fool's aura. That way we can pass through the seal and directly face Crismona's shadow near the Women's Spring. Moreover, the most acceptable method for the Demoness of Despair currently is to go to Marora, which definitely won't allow time to return to Trier and advance here. There's another method using those mirror people in the special mirror world as a ritual object, but this is only suitable for Franca. As Jenna is a female demoness, if this was to be used, it may actually cause that terrifying matter to arrive. Both Jenna and Franca agreed with Lumin's explanation. Lumin called out to Anthony standing in the corner, dispelled the mirror maze, retrieved the mirrors, and holding a burning candle, headed to the upper levels of the catacombs. Can I say it? I genuinely I'm starting to feel bad for Anthony. In a way, I never felt bad for Audrey, because Audrey always felt like the main character, whereas like Anthony has such a depressing background, and now you're just seeing like this motherfucker who cares so deeply about his teammates. He's like, listen, I will die before I let anyone else die before me, and everyone's like, damn, motherfucker, I forgot you were here. It's so... including the audience. Holy shit. Franca walked alongside him and said after some thought, "By the way, the despair potion you drank should include portions of sequence 9 through 5, right? When I was considering switching to the hunter pathway before, I consulted Madame Judgment about such matters. She said that one issue with switching to adjacent pathways is that all the preceding potions need to be fully digested. Otherwise, it will affect one's state and increase risk for future advancements." He can turn it off though, like it's not a passive? True, but then for his digestion as a whole, he needs to be a spectator, right? Like for throughout the whole pathway, he needs to be someone who is like observing, and he needs to be someone who is detached. And so because of those things, to a degree, yeah, sure, like the psychological invisibility can turn off, obviously, but like he can't probably be as involved as he would probably want to be, because it seems like he's a very passionate person about the people he cares about, but like his potion just doesn't allow that. This is unlike advancing within the same pathway where mental and spiritual state has already adjusted to suit the digestion of preceding potions, so it doesn't take long to stabilize. LEMMiNO chuckled and said, "I've already digested most of the despair potion. Given my mental and spiritual state then and afterwards, affliction isn't necessarily a concern. It's very compatible and took just a few days to digest." Yep, that's exactly what I said, Kami. Verbatim, word for word. You can actually clip that. Put that in the clips channel if you don't mind. The same goes for pleasure. My experiences during that period changed my mental and spiritual state, and even then had experiences that very morning. So it's not like my state gradually reverted back to being away from the condition for long. This doesn't need to be specially digested again. Instigator is similar. Don't you say I'm an excellent instigator. Comparatively, I've been more engaged in direct kills and combating enemies recently. Using Fate Exchange to harm targets was just one of my methods, not the main approach, so I'll need to seriously act and digest the assassin and witch potions but they're in the minority now. They can't really affect my state as much, and are much more of a hidden danger for the future. I see, Franca understood. Afterwards, since Jenna needed to go back to rest and contain the spillover effects of the potion, only LEMMiNO and Franca took a four-wheeled carriage to Rue Orsay in Quartier de la Cathédrale Commémorative. Before going to Tricardo to find the Demoness of Black, they planned to return to their originally rented apartment to see if the Demoness of Black had sought Franca and left any messages. As for choosing a rental carriage instead of public transport, it was because the two demonesses, even wearing hats and loose clothing, would inevitably encounter some harassment. Although Franca and LEMMiNO weren't afraid, they felt that there was no need to make themselves uncomfortable. Quartier de la Observatoire and Quartier de la Cathédrale Commémorative were adjacent, so it didn't take long for the two to return to the apartment and open the door. Although they had only been gone a few days and Franca hadn't even had time to tell the landlord about ending the lease early, when they saw the interior layout in the armchair, they felt as if an era had passed. Memories flashed through Franca's mind. At times, she felt sweet, and at times couldn't help but sigh. After LEMMiNO concealed himself and hid, Franca entered the room alone, closed the wooden door, and carefully examined every detail of the place. No messages, no traces, but I feel like someone's been here, Franca muttered to herself. As she withdrew her palm from the full-length mirror in the living room. She then turned around and walked to the master bedroom. At that moment, the full-length mirror suddenly became dim. In this dimness, a figure emerged. She wore a black court dress, her black hair neatly coiled up, lightly covered by a hat and a veil hanging down. She had indescribable beauty, the Demoness of Black, Clarice. At this moment, the Demoness of Black's face was expressionless and her eyes reflecting the tall silhouette of Franca. The corners of her mouth curved up, and a few naturally falling strands of her hair drilled out from the mirror, extending silently to Franca's back. Franca received a warning from her companion. Without thinking, she triggered mirror substitution, and in the next second her body was touched by those few strands of black hair. First it turned to a mirror, then it became grayish-white and fell to the ground. The mirror had become a stone. Almost simultaneously, the Demoness of Black in the full-length mirror saw a figure leap up from above. The figure wore a black cloak with light blue eyes, pale lips, a clean, elegant face, strikingly beautiful features. Both hands holding a huge iron black sword. That straight sword burned with intense flame, slamming into the ground. This didn't shatter or pierce the floor, but hit an invisible barrier as the entire space shook, triggering a fierce snake of intense blue-white, rapidly pouncing towards the mirror, igniting the tea table and the wooden boards along the way. Bottle of fiction. When the Demoness of Black's hairs was stabbed out from the mirror, LEMMiNO was already prepared to act. He hadn't expected the Demoness of Black to be so direct and decisive in order to try and petrify Franca without saying a word, but it didn't hinder him from following his combat instincts. The Demoness of Black still had a pitiable appearance, but her eyes, reflecting Lumion, suddenly became covered in a layer of greyish-white, cold color. Well, so do you guys think this is going to be a long battle or a short one? You know, I can never tell with these things. Too bad Cuttlefish doesn't give any hints or anything. I wish he would, you know? The Demoness of Black slightly raised her chin and let out a piercing shriek. The invisible sound waves instantly caused the mirror to take on a greyish-white, dim color. Along with this, Clarissa's hair broke free from its constraints, knocking her hat and floating upwards. Each strand became thick as if carved from stone. This greyish-white spread out from the mirror, causing the intense flame snakes that had destroyed the mirror's front to freeze in place, turning to a statue. It failed to explode the mirror as Lumen had expected, destroying the Demoness of Black's medium for interfering with the interior of the bottle of fiction. The greyish-white created by Clarice continued to spread, like surging tides quickly engulfing the nearby armchair, sofa set, and cabinets, causing them to rapidly lose their luster, taking on a greyish-white color and appearing much harder. This greyish-white tide rapidly covered the entire room, enveloping both Franca and Lumion. Under the constraints of the bottle of fiction, facing such a wide-range attack, Mirror Substitute hold on. A mere substitution seems to have lost its effect, because after becoming a substitute, one would still appear in the petrifying area. In the next second, Lumion and Franca, covered in thick, dust-like particles, regressed into greyish-white stone mirrors, but their figures did not appear anywhere within the bottle of fiction. The bottle of fiction itself seemed to have undergone petrification, turning into a sealed cage. Seeing this, the Demoness muttered, "Did they escape?" The current situation indicated that Lumion, relying on the abilities of a Demoness of Despair, and Franca, using the powers of the Ice Amulet, had managed to hide in a mirror before being petrified, then traversed and escaped. The current problem was that the Demoness of Black's control over the mirror world, she could easily intercept the two, but hadn't sensed any movement. At this moment, Clarice received a warning from her spirituality and turned around, casting a gaze at the illusory spiderweb behind her. In one of those dim, unreal tunnels, Lumion, wearing a black cloak and tall, held up an exaggeratedly shaped iron-black straight sword, descending from above to slash. Escape? Someone holding this sort of courage wouldn't consider this. If they were to escape, they would be using the retreat as a feint for advancing. The flames on the Sword of Courage surged out with an intense black, like boiling pitch, carrying the violence and madness to destroy all things. Simultaneously, Lumion's naturally hanging left palm imperceptibly pressed down towards the Demoness of Black from a distance. On his wrist, which was like a work of art, he wore a silver, white, and black bracelet that looked cheap. His eyes then took on a silver-black hue. Boom! Flames, suppressing intensity and madness, exploded into midair. Fierce shock waves carrying the countless flames surged towards the Demoness. This ageless Demoness didn't use petrification to respond. Her body rapidly thinned and shrank, flashing at a faint sight. She became a mirror. That mirror shattered into an explosion, its spirituality completely exhausted by the flames. The fire of destruction mixed in this terrifying explosion further engulfed the entire area behind the mirror, extinguishing all signs of light. But when the fire of destruction extinguished and the explosion's aftermath ended, the Demoness of Black outlined in one corner of the void black area. She seemed to be able to control the timing of her returning to reality using Mirror Substitute, avoiding appearing in the fires while it was still burning. Suddenly, behind the Demoness, a mirror hidden in the darkness appeared, reflecting Clarissa's figure, and in the mirror was also Lumion. Mirror projection. Just as Lumion appeared, he immediately transformed into a quiet, evil black flames enveloping the Demoness of Black's figure. Is she a sequence 4 or 3? Because if she's a 4, this makes sense. If she's a 3, she kind of a bum. She's actually a lot of a bum. Only at this point did the Demoness of Black seem to sense danger, actively using mirror substitution. But she was still a beat slow. Her appearance in this corner, in front of this mirror, with Lumien's mirror projection wasn't coincidental, but a carefully designed outcome. Okay, I've gotten 2 differing answers from 3 people. But she was still a beat too slow. Her appearance in this corner. Chris is saying it with absolute confidence. Baijima was on his side. Not is kind of on their side. So I'm going to go with 3. You can only be colored 3 and up. Okay, Chris? We don't say colored anymore, okay? We say people of color. Okay? We haven't used that term in decades. I don't appreciate this, okay? Lumien's earlier apparent frontal attack with a sword of courage was actually focused on his left palm that wasn't holding the sword. He wore the circle of binding to alleviate his ability to compel fate to a sequence 4. And now he had just consumed nearly a third of his spirituality to make the fate where the Demoness of Black would appear after using mirror substitution predetermined, making the corresponding tributary become part of the mainstream. Thus, the Demoness of Black actively walked into this trap, standing in front of the mirror with Lumien's mirror projection. At the same time, to prevent... I wouldn't take that bet, buddy. If you wanted to say in the next century, I'd still probably wouldn't take that bet. But in the next decade, no shot. At the same time, to prevent the Demoness of Black from detecting the danger ahead of time, Lumien had, on one hand, applied an anti-divination treatment to the mirror before launching the attack, and on the other, deliberately let the fire of destruction to cover the entire area behind the mirror, making every corner look like there was no ambush, even if there was. It would obviously be destroyed by the fire of destruction, but in reality, relying on his precision ability, he had covertly made some fire of destruction bypass the pre-placed mirror. Under these various schemes, the Demoness of Black failed to use mirror substitution before Lumien's mirror projection launched the Demoness's curse. The Demoness's eyes, seemingly hiding rain and mist, widened and quiet flames burst from within her. These flames burned fiercely, igniting the soul of the Demoness, accompanied by a silent explosion. Curse plus cull. Crack, crack, the figure of the Demoness kept flashing, turning into mirror after mirror. These mirrors successively lost their luster, becoming dim, being unable to extinguish the flames. After a few seconds, she was too weak and saw Lumien walking up to her. This beautiful girl, wearing a black cloak, making her face appear even fairer, raises the huge broadsword burning with flames. The broadsword came down with a thunderous sound, chopping at her neck. I think we would regress if we went a century. I think Saintess is just like... Because some find Demoness as like evil, and so they're like, no, I'm actually a good person. Saintess. The pitiable lady was torn to pieces, scattering around in the form of corpse pieces carrying black flames. Okay, I get why she died. I want to be clear, because Lumien is damn near like a tri-sequence demigod, okay? Damn near, not really, but he's close. But she still lost to someone who was weaker than her. As a demigod. We always talk about how the difference between things just... Did she? You're saying this was all an illusion, Chris? Franca's figure returned from the void, from another void, dark tunnel, looking at the large number of corpse pieces and said, "Is it resolved just like that?" This was the Demoness of Black, a demoness titled by color. Previously, Franca had only hoped that Lumien could briefly suppress the Demoness of Black, not giving Clarice a chance to interfere with her actions of escaping through the mirror world. If she did escape, it would be much easier for Lumien as a demigod to disengage from the battle. Of course, Franca would inevitably hope to find an opportunity to use her certain death effect of the inevitable gun to accomplish the feat of slaying a demigod. If that failed, she could still use the sure hit plus impregnating bullet to give Lumien a chance. Lumen didn't put away the sword of courage, staring at the corpse pieces and said she showed Sequence 3 level in some abilities, but she seemed stiff and inexperienced. Not only did she not seem like an experienced demoness of unaging, but she also seemed a bit weaker than a normal demoness of despair. She didn't even notice when I placed mirrors while invisible. Not the normal demoness of black, Franca made a judgment. This also means we have no spoil of war, Lumen laughed. Let's travel to the real world. I'll come back later to see what's left in the end. Frank understood what Lumen was worried was that the abnormal state of the demoness of black may lead to a corpse transformation and bring about incidents. Without being reckless, Franca pressed her hand on the mirror, leaving this area and returning to the living room. Everything here had turned to stone, and the removal of the bottle of fiction. The grayish-white powder felt like rain. This is severe poison. Or severe pollution, Franca said. The place I'm at is really loud. She reached into her traveler bag, intending to take out the remaining money and leave it here as a compensation for the furniture damage. At this moment, Lumen had a premonition. His figure disappeared in an instant, melting into the shadows. In the next second, Franca also sensed something with her spirituality, casting her gaze at the glass window that had been protected by the bottle of fiction, not yet petrified. The left side of the window suddenly darkened, outlining a figure. The demoness of black. At this moment, Franca was a bit stunned. Did she get reanimated? No. If it was reanimation, it would have appeared in the full-length mirror. If it isn't a reanimation, who is this and who is that? The demoness of black nodded and said, "What exactly happened a few days ago that made you return only now?" This attitude. Rather amiable, Franca thought. You've defeated a shadow clone. Absolute peak. Could it be like a mirror person? Or, because I don't know why she would attack her. It doesn't make any sense. Could it be like a mirror person's shadow clone? That would make sense. I don't know why she would attack her. Seeing that the demoness of black had no immediate intention to attack her, and they didn't seem to be secretly releasing plague, Franca steadied herself and began reciting her pre-rehearsed words. That day, Lumen suddenly said that the Rose School of Thought had had brought a very important item to Trier, which could potentially cause chaos and affect us, so we need to move to another safe house. This time, Franca pushed all the problems and abnormalities onto Lumen, saying she didn't know why this lover she met through the Iron Blood Cross Order was hiding so many secrets. Despite not being very powerful, he seemed to have a very high status, to the extent that after the dazzling light burst over the sky in Trier, it attracted the attack of 2 bestowed demigods. Finally, she said at the most critical moment Lumen came back, he had actually become a demoness of despair and killed Higdon quickly, and then dealt with Voisin. And then, the demoness asked, she left. She originally felt that although her description was reasonably fabricated, as someone who wasn't a descendant of the demoness family with an origin that only seemed clear, having long shared a bed with someone who could carry many secrets and qualities, was inherently suspicious. Who could guarantee she hadn't developed some issues? After the brief battle, she had completely lost confidence in her ability to deceive the demoness of black. Lumen Lee indeed has quite a few issues. Once exposed, he certainly wouldn't dare stay here anymore, the demoness said. The only pity is that you've lost the most valiant lover below demigod. The few times I came to look at you, you were enjoying yourselves immensely. It was enviable. Damn it, when did she see that? Franca thought. Thinking about the demoness of black, seeing her in that state, her face nearly turned green. She carefully recalled and realized this couldn't really be blamed on Lumen, as it was her doing. After the first couple of times, she'd gotten used to it. Enough, alright. I hope the demoness of black didn't see what I did later to digest the affliction potion. I hope. Mr. Fool, protect your devout believer from social death, Franca laughed. But enough. I don't want to mention her anymore. She kept so many secrets from me. but has also seduced my other lover, Jenna. I've even digested half the affliction potion because of this. She was laying the groundwork for her rapid digestion of the potion. There was such a thing? The Demoness of Black smiled, as if she had long guessed that a sequence 5 Beyonder of the manly pathway like Lumen, frequently in contact with Franca's lover, would inevitably have a day when they couldn't resist. Yes, Franca said. You didn't cut off his thing or force feed him a potion from the Demoness pathway? The Demoness laughed. Well, his sequence is too high. You couldn't make him advance to the Demoness of Despair. Amongst my lovers, if any male lover is destined to become a demoness, I don't mind him sleeping with my female lovers, since he'll lose it sooner or later. Anyway. What is this logic? If I hadn't originally planned for him to walk the demoness path, I would have let him know what pain is really like. You really are perverted, Franca thought. I had thought of a revenge, but later gave up. As an adult, I don't make choices. I take everything! Moreover, I sensed some issues at the time. He seemed to have a false high status, and torturing him would make my affliction potion digested. And before I could probe the real reason, everything exploded. No wonder he played such a game. A very suitable game for a demoness. I'm not reading the rest of this. I'm just reading it in my head. Okay, I'm not reading this. This is disgusting. But I'll be completely digested the potion in the next 2 or 3 weeks, Franca said. She had recently been recalling previously learned knowledge, purchasing general-purpose textbooks and trying to create exam papers for Ludwig. She believed that just once would be enough to achieve her goal. This would only take a few days. Oh, what a bitch. She's gonna torture the child. The Demoness of Black didn't mention anything about the subsequent advancement, which Franca didn't find strange. Her current self was highly suspicious, and if she were to promise the formula and ingredients for the Demoness of Despair, it would inevitably mean that the subsequent arrangement would involve traps. What a situation this is. I know I'm lying, she knows I'm lying, and I know that she knows that I'm lying. And according to the Demoness, and according to her questions, she detailed Lumen's appearance and abilities after he became a Demoness of Despair. The Demoness quickly listened and then walked out of the glass window. Seeing this, alarm bells rang in Franca's head. The current situation was clearly a result of petrification, a unique ability to the high-ranking Demoness pathway, yet she hadn't asked a single question about it. She looked at Franca, smiling. Franca found herself uncomfortably drawn in. You have only one lover left now, but you can become mine, the Demoness of Black said. The Demoness of Black walked step by step to Franca, her right hand extended like a queen waiting for a knight to kiss it. Franca was overwhelmed by a strong urge. In this way, she continuously changed her aura as if searching for one that would be the most captivating to Franca. No need, Franca said. This sentence was like a spell, dispelling the current romantic atmosphere. Give me a reason, the Demoness of Black said calmly, showing no signs of disappointment. Madame, you said that endurance is a form of pain. I wish to take the opportunity to practice abstinence for a while. Your willpower is stronger than expected. Although I wasn't using my full charm, the fact that you could still refuse shows your willpower is amongst the best. Is that so? Franca thought. At that moment, she thought of Jenna and also of Lumen. This didn't surprise her. I'll wait for you to digest the potion. During this time, I have a task. Make contact with a core member of the Emperor Party. What the fuck is even that? If Klein comes back, what do you think would be the first thing on his agenda? Getting rid of all the hoes in his fucking church? It'd be like, bitch, I'm not you want forgiveness? Go to that fucking loser, okay? I'm not Jesus. Get the fuck out of here. During this time, I have a task for you. Make contact with a core member of the Emperor Party. You should have heard the voice saying your Emperor has returned that day. Those fanaticists who worship Roselle and wish to restore the Emperor seem to have no ideas because of this. Perhaps we can use them to do something. Kami, do you think he's gonna pull a Roselle and be like, oh, I'm gonna all of the celestial worthy believers now believe in the Fool, and now that I know where you all are, he just suddenly there was an error and your fucking heart exploded, idiot. The specific situation will be told to you by Nisi. He can immediately kill them. Oh yeah, I guess since he would become the celestial worthy in essence, right? So he would receive those prayers anyway. Yeah, I guess. The specific situation will be told to you by Nisia. She was originally a spy employed by the government, monitoring the party, and had just become a witch not long ago. This is her information. If you wish to obtain the formula and ingredients for the Demoness of Despair, you need to make a good contribution. Franka took the paper and nodded. Yes, madame. The Demoness didn't say any more. Her figure then disappeared from the room, not mentioning a single word. Not long after, LEMMiNO walked out of Jenna's bedroom, grabbed Franka's arm, and entered the full-length mirror in the living room. The corpse pieces and the Demoness of Black in the area had disappeared completely. Demoness clone is eco-friendly. I know, it's compostable. It's so lovely, you know? LEMMiNO didn't rely entirely on his spirituality, but carefully searched the area, finding nothing. Could this have been the Demoness of Black's mirror person? Frank asked. Can't be that weak. LEMMiNO shook his head. The two tried using magic mirror divination, but got no results. Should we try asking the one with the most accurate mirrors divination results? Franka suggested. Let's wait until we've consulted Madam Magician and the others before we consider that. Franka sighed. I love how Eridas is like the fucking scariest thing for Franka. She's like, God, he's embarrassing. Franka sighed, turning her gaze to the mirror exit, saying with lingering fear, "Just now, the Demoness of Black, completely ignoring the petrified state of the room, nearly scared me to death. Such a glaring anomaly was right in front of her, yet she acted as if she was blind. Though I knew the reason I gave wouldn't convince you, I still acted professionally, didn't I?" LEMMiNO pondered and said, "Perhaps she really didn't notice." You're even better at telling horror stories than I am," Franka shuddered. It's possible that the death of this Demoness of Black will lead to a partial loss of sensory or spiritual perception in the real Demoness of Black, making her unable to perceive the corresponding signs for a while. So you're saying the Demoness of Black you killed was part of the real Demoness of Black? If we could master all the mysticism knowledge related to the Demoness of Unaging, we should be able to find the answer. Not necessarily, Franka refuted. Maybe this isn't a characteristic of a Demoness of Unaging. Maybe a peculiarity of the Demoness of Black herself. Another demon. I know! This one seemed so stable, Kami. It's crazy. You really can't trust. If you can't even trust a Demoness, who can you really trust these days? Really? Like, who can I even trust? Maybe this isn't a characteristic. Didn't you say her position and role in the Demoness sect doesn't match her sequence? That's a possibility, LEMMiNO agreed. Whether it's Yumi or Jenna, if we wish to go further on the Demoness pathway, these secrets are something we must understand. This is also why we can't bypass the Demoness sect and must interact with them. But I want to switch to Hunter in the future. Well, sequence 4 has to be Demoness of Despair, and maybe 3 I can leave, and maybe by 3 I can leave the sect. But the Demoness of Unaging sounds very appealing. Eternally youthful, hard to kill, skilled at resurrection. Switch at 2, but becoming an angel is nearly impossible. Dude, I love how Franca has gone so quickly from, damn, I wonder if I can ever become a demigod too. Alright, so I'll just become an angel hunter. That'll be fine. I resisted the demoness of Black's charm just now, she said. Praise me quickly. Lumen glanced at her and said, I remember when I met you. When I first met you, you were mature, dashing, charming, and had determination. You were like a reliable older sister, but now, no, older brother, Franca retorted. Everyone has different facets. Can you act the same with strangers as you do with brothers you entrust your life to? Can you handle daily trivial matters in the same way as a sudden crisis? That was a sequence 3. Although she didn't directly use charm, just based on her beauty, not many men could refuse, but I did. Being able to refuse is good, although becoming her lover would indeed allow you to enjoy the body of a high-ranking demoness and gain her trust, but it would also make you addicted, ultimately unable to leave, becoming corrupted. Exactly, Franca said. That's not the point. Do you know why I was able to refuse? You thought of Jenna? Exactly, she said, speaking in a tone that suggested her bro truly understood her. Lemon didn't ask for any details and prepared to return. I also thought of you, Franca said. She was then frozen, as if struck by lightning. Why did I say that? Franca wanted to dig a hole and crawl inside, and instantly. Whoa, Kami! Holy long pole, brother! It's been so long since I've listened to this. Seeing Lumen stop in his tracks, his expression somewhat complicated, Franca confirmed that it was her spirituality that made her impulsive. Just as Jenna had said before, Lumen needed to clearly know that he's a person who is still valued and needed. I don't know why I thought of you either. I thought we only had a purely physical relationship. Maybe it's because you were watching. Lumen wanted to scoff. Why did you think of me? He asked. Damn it, are you really asking? Oh, for fuck's sakes. I keep playing this since Jenna is in pleasure sequence, bro? Lies. I have not heard this in months. Jacques. I don't know why, but I feel like you've become even more beautiful after coming into contact with the sealed artifact formed by Ami Mello's remains, even rivaling a sequence 3 by now. Pull up the VODs? I'm not doing that. Normally, beauty and prettiness can be quantified or compared, but in the demoness pathway, they certainly can. The higher the sequence, the more charm they have compared to lower sequences, and they were generally more beautiful, unless the lower sequence demoness was originally very beautiful or improved her appearance through other means. If you're wrong, you gotta eat an entire raw lemon? Fuck no, what do you think? Who do you think I am, bro? At that moment, I should have recalled you, whose charm could rival the demoness of Black, but strangely, I remembered the initial you, who always liked to act all tough, like a little brother. Perhaps we have become your anchors, LEMMiNO glanced at Franca. Dude, it's so weird. They keep referring to each other as like brother and sister, and then they get like, it's so fucking weird. I'm not crazy, right? Like, this is genuinely so fucked. The Demoness of Black asked me to contact the core members of the Emperor Party. Could there be any hidden risks? I thought you would want to make a deal with the special mirror world related, but she doesn't seem to have withdrawn from those tasks from the earlier investigations. The Emperor Party's new schemes may be related to that special mirror world, Lumen said. Hey? How? Average Frenchman, Kami? Lumen explained, have you forgotten who the leader of the mirror people is? The Emperor Roselle. I understand. Why do I feel like you've gotten smarter? This is the result of blending the Demoness and Hunter path. Before, I used the Conspirer ability to gather clues, study details, and deduce. Now, I first get some impressions, come up with a few ideas, then rely on Conspirer to analyze, saving a lot of time. Just now, when the Demoness of Black mentioned the Emperor Party, I naturally associated with the Mirror Roselle and connected. You're making me want to switch pathways too, Franca muttered. She then took out 300 Verl d'Or and placed them under a small stone as compensation. After doing this, Franca looked at the full-length mirror with a grayish tint and said, "The mirror traversal ability of the ice amulet has been used up." Jesus, Kami, okay. And the Demoness of Black didn't give me another one. You have a new one soon. Although it can only be used 5 or 6 times. What? Where's the new charm coming from? From me! Have you forgotten that I'm a Demoness of Despair and I can make similar charms? Oh, Franca realized. Who could resist such a beautiful girl saying such things? As LEMMiNO opened the door to leave, Franca suddenly realized his mood seems to have improved a bit. At night, on the underground trier, LEMMiNO and Ludwig watched as Anthony successfully summoned a human-headed bird in the name of Mr. Fool, but failed to gain its acknowledgement and sign a contract. No, Anthony! The human-headed bird demon, a creature of the spirit world, was part of the advancement ritual for Sequence 5 Dreamwalker. If you had summoned it through a normal mean, I would force it to sign a contract with you, LEMMiNO remarked. But now, as it was summoned in the name of Mr. Fool, and both parties were communicating in a peaceful state. But it won't respond to normal summons. I plan to pray to Mr. Fool again next month, hoping to receive the protection of his angel. Another method provided by by Madam Justice. He was pretty stupid at the start, but since prayers should preferably be made after some time has passed. Next month. In a few days, we'll be entering Mr. Fool's dream. Having a dream walker would be better. Lumen shifted his head and turned to Ludwig. Are there any ingredients that can help Anthony stay lucid in a dream, even if for a short time? It's not unlocked that fast, I guess. He was always smart? I know, I'm kidding, Chris. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of do dislike this eating food for level ups. I genuinely do find it a little cringy, I'm not gonna lie. Ludwig, dressed in a formal children's wear, looked at the freshly cleaned altar and licked his lips, somewhat regrettably. If we had caught that bird with a human head just now and stewed it together with duck fat, we could have gained the ability to control our fear and emotions, possibly gaining lucidity through fear. I'm not even on there. Additionally, the gray beast from planet Darbilla, cooked with roasting, can prevent one from getting lost in most dreams for 7 days. The black dream tapir, a spirit world creature that feeds upon joy, happiness, excitement, desire, and other emotions, using its spiritual dust to make a cocktail can prevent the drinker from being deceived by the beauty of dreams sinking into them, and refusing to wake up. At the same time, each time you drink that wine, you can clearly distinguish between reality and dreams for the next 10 days. The King of Nightmares, an angel-level creature that rules planet 4 snakes in the Y star system, eating its gallbladder directly can permanently gain the trait of dream lucidity. As Ludwig spoke, he grew hungrier and hungrier and couldn't help but ask his godfather for a few sandwich cookies. As he finished listing the ingredients, he remembered. Perhaps I've encountered a black dream tapir, Anthony said. I tried regular psychological treatments on him. I met a patient at a psychiatric clinic long ago. He had been having nightmares for 3 consecutive weeks and was mentally drained, emotionally numb, and pessimistic. Are you reading the new Cuttlefish novel? Not yet, Sid. Maybe once I'm done, Koi, I can like read it really quickly. Because it only has like 40 chapters out or something right now, right? So I can read it in like a week or so after finishing Lord of the Koi, before starting Reverend Insanity. Just like a quick little whoop. $60 and first volume ended. Goddamn, right? Short first volume. Unless the chapters are really fucking long, I guess. I attempted regular psychological treatment and also attempted to solve the problem using Beyonder abilities, but these only prevented him from having nightmares for 2 or 3 days. I couldn't figure out why it failed, but now I suspect he may have been targeted. Psychiatric clinic? To join the Psychology Alchemist, you need to integrate into the circle of psychiatrists. I am now officially a practicing physician at a psychiatric clinic. The higher the sequence of new members, the less likely they are to be trusted. Sequence 9 through 7 are okay, with the realm of wild beyonders that ordinarily have a chance to reach. 6 is barely acceptable. Well, 5? Very few wild beyonders can reach this level. Aren't you afraid that becoming a dreamwalker will affect your subsequent joining? The higher the sequence of the new members, the less likely they are to be trusted. Wait, no. It just doubled that. Never mind. I bought the Dreamwalker potion and corresponding ingredients in batches from members of the Alchemist. Madam Justice mainly provided financial rewards. I see. What level of power does a Black Dream Tapir have? The good ones have weak godhood, while the weak ones are roughly equivalent to sequence 7. Going to the spirit world to find harpies or Black Dream Tapirs is not something we can do unless we ask Madam Magician or an angel of the Holy Spirit. Do you have a way to for me to enter that patient's dream? I want to confirm if it's a Black Dream Tapir and if there's a way to get it. I bought 2 dream entry charms from the Psychology Alchemist, and Madam Justice gave me one, Anthony said. Then let's go pay him a visit, Lumen smiled. Anthony suppressed the disappointment of having that extremely beautiful face hidden, nodded. Lumen, who was holding Ludwig's hand as they walked to the surface. After walking a few meters, Ludwig turned his head and looked at Lumen and said, "Mother?" He simply felt that since his godfather had become female, the address should change. Mother. Lumen's heart skipped a beat and said, "You better just keep calling me godfather." Understood, Ludwig agreed. I've been having some bad premonitions lately. About yourself or all of us? About myself. I think I know what it is, Lumen chuckled. It's not a big problem. Just endure it and it will pass. When the time comes, you'll have a chance to accumulate contributions to exchange for different parts of a demigod blessed's corpse. Ludwig's eyes lit up. All right. In Quartier de la Maison d'Opera, on Rue de Chapeau Noir, in the apartment with drawn curtains. Nicaea, nearly 1.7 meters tall, stood in front of a full-length mirror. My face is fair and clean, my hair naturally wavy and hanging loose, my eyes deep yet clear, my lips red, moist. What an enchanting young lady. She glanced at herself in fascination, her hand falling to her lips. She hadn't expected the beyond her power promised by the demoness to be obtained this way. When she was immersed in and proud of the various abilities brought by the assassin potion, committing numerous crimes, her fate was already sealed. She was forced to drink the witch potion, becoming a woman which strongly conflicted with and opposed her male identity. Now she seemed to be split into 2 people, one angry and in pain, wanting to take revenge on the demonesses in this world, and the other conquered by the charming beauty. Suddenly, following her spiritual intuition, she lowered her hand and turned around. There was someone who hadn't been there. The person had their arms resting on both armrests, leaning against the chair. A beautiful woman, with with eyes as if hiding many emotions and thoughts. So beautiful as the few demonesses I've seen, but a different aura. She looked at the beauty before her, surprisingly not questioning who the other was. Is this what a newly advanced witch is like? Franca shook her head. I love how Frank is like, damn, what a fucking idiot. She had already snuck into this room since Nicaea started admiring herself, but she was so indulged that she failed to notice altogether. Back then, when Franca drank her potion, she was also stunned by her own beauty, feeling it as if it was the anima in her... anima? What is this word? Enigma? Well, it's not enigma. The anima. What is the meaning of anima? Soul. Jung describes anima with its Latin-derived meaning, soul. Oh, that's why. Fortunately, her personality was cheerful, and being a transmigrator who already switched bodies once, she didn't reject her current self. After getting busy with the Tarot Club and meeting Lieutenant Lumion, Franca's issues in this aspect became increasingly faint. Now, she was sitting and Nicaea was standing. Franca smiled. I don't know if the Demoness of Black has told you, but for a long time to come you will be my subordinate. Madame Clarice mentioned it. You must be Madame Franca. Nicaea's gaze was still roaming over Franca's body. Your vigilance is not high enough. If I were an enemy, you'd be dead several times over, Franca said. Mere substitution is important, but don't rely on it completely. Yes, madam. Give me the information regarding core members of the Emperor Party. Yes. In the administrative district, wearing cotton pajamas and sleep pants, COI raised a glass of wine, sitting at the edge of his bed, reluctant to lay down. He knew it would be the beginning of another long torment and pain. Finally, he couldn't resist the fatigue, and after drinking the glass of red wine, fell asleep. In his dream, COI was running, petrified, to the point of near collapse, with a huge monster chasing him. Ahead was a cliff, and he didn't have time to stop, falling off of it. If it were a normal dream, he would wake up at this moment due to the free fall of the switch of scenes. But he didn't. He crashed to the ground, seeing his body shattered to pieces, and cried out. At this moment, a bear-like shadow walked out of the darkness and began to lick the brain matter that had splattered out of him, causing him to freeze. Suddenly, he saw a crimson moon rise in the sky and a slender figure carrying a huge iron straight sword descending from the heavens. The figure's hood was flipped up, black hair illuminated by the moon. Dude, imagine you get a savior, you get such a beautiful savior in your own dream. Holy shit. You're just like, oh, this is gonna be a long night, and then fucking, I don't know, and then fucking Megan Fox comes to save you, and you're like, what the fuck, this is so peak, hold on, I never want to wake up. When Lumion saw the bear-like shadow, he immediately confirmed it was a black dream Tapir. He immediately drew the Sword of Courage, and under the illumination of the crimson moon, can we say this is convergence with Anthony and the Black Dream Tapir? Who doesn't, Kami? Who doesn't? He instantly drew the Sword of Courage and flipped up the illumination of the moon in the dream, jumped down from the cliff top, and the hood attached to his cloak flipped up. Intense flames pinned the bear-like shadow to the ground, blasting it to pieces. Those shadow fragments scattered and recombined into the shape of a tapir in the distance. This wasn't a real dream. Most damage couldn't be reflected on the physical body, and so couldn't cause direct death, at most causing mental damage. The bear-like dream tapir turned to Lumion and growled. With his growl, the scenery changed, transforming into a primitive forest at the bottom of the cliff. Cordu under blue skies and white clouds. Lumion returned to the old tavern with a glass of absinthe floating in the dreamlike green color in front of him. Surrounded by many Guillaumes and Pierres, telling crude jokes and slandering people. With a familiar scent of alcohol piercing Lumion's nose, outside the tavern window, Aurora's house reflected in his eyes. Aurora sitting on the rooftops, hugging her knees and looking at the sky. One of the Black Dream Tapir's abilities was to use the happy, joyful, pleasant memories it had absorbed to trap the target into a nostalgic, beautiful scene. Seeing the figure holding the sword freeze, the tapir ran on all fours. It wanted to devour the entire scene of the positive emotions. At this moment, it felt something burning behind it. It turned around to see it was another LEMMiNO, with flames of anger burning in its eyes, holding the broadsword. LEMMiNO, indulging in the memories of Cordu, dissipated, leaving only a mirror. LEMMiNO raised the sword of courage, cleaving the tapir in two. The more he longed for the life in Cordu, knowing it could never return, the more agitated he felt. In a slight explosion... What is a slight explosion? I don't even know what that means. There either is an explosion, or there isn't. The black dream tapir's shadow rejoined dozens of meters away, but was much weaker than before. LEMMiNO's flames of destruction seemed only to have truly damaged the part of its consciousness that had penetrated the dream. Fear appeared in its eyes in the spirit world creature. It suddenly stood upright, its eyes tinged with red. It wanted to use the dream to transform into one of the target's most feared and terrifying forms, thereby intimidating the opponent and creating an opportunity for its consciousness to escape. In the blink of an eye, the tapir's body swelled to an abnormal size, emanating an extremely insane, cruel aura. It created a nearly invisible flame. In the next second, the tapir let out a shrill cry. Ignited by the invisible fire it had created, and its body was filled with a terrifying aura. Seeing the scene, even LEMMiNO was stunned and smiled. It's not so easy to imitate an image that can make me feel fear and dread. You think you can imitate at least a two-door? Imitating a true god meant suffering backlash. The tapir was already rolling in agony. It struggled hard to detach from the dream, but LEMMiNO didn't stop it, but instead activated the mark on his shoulder and followed it to the spirit world. Damn, that's my mod. Good work, Kami. The dream's owner, COI, in the form of a dismembered corpse, saw the girl who descended like the moon and set it ablaze. His heart became less fearful. He stared at the elegant, clean profile, at those slightly pursed lips, at the bright red face. This is a dream. LEMMiNO chased to a certain place in the spirit world and saw the tapir's true form already burning. LEMMiNO watched quietly and flicked a black flame bound with agitation and intensity towards it, letting it fall towards the tapir's body. In a few seconds, the spirit world creature turned to ash, turning to a tiny amount of black powder. LEMMiNO reached out and caught this powder. In the apartment LEMMiNO had rented for Lugano and Ludwig, the little boy, dressed in a children's formal wear, poured nearly 100 milliliters of Lanti-proof into a glass, then added the black dream tapir's powder, ice cubes, lemon juice, a type of Killdew, and other items. In the end, that glass full of strong liquor had a golden base, looking quite beautiful. That looks tempting, Franca said. She sat close to LEMMiNO while Jenna was on the other side. Ludwig suddenly picked up the glass and hid it behind his back and said, "There's only enough for 2 people. You and Anthony drink it," LEMMiNO said. While Franca felt disappointment, Ludwig beamed with joy. He took another glass and poured nearly half of the cocktail into it. The cocktail is called the Color of Dreams. It takes a minute to start affecting after drinking. After Anthony took the Color of Dreams, Ludwig began gulping it down. Isn't it not so good for someone who is so young to drink hard liquor? Franca said. She had already prepared her test papers and was just waiting for Anthony to finish advancing to test Ludwig. Until which chapter are you reading? That's a good question. I was thinking 900 is a nice round number, but if there's like a chapter I should end at, we can do that as well. As Ludwig shuddered, Anthony adjusted his state and drank the glass. Both bitter and sweet, both strong and mild. This was a dreamscape. While waiting for it to take effect, Anthony began preparing the potion. Franca took the opportunity to say to LEMMiNO and Jenna, the leader of the Roselle party, or the Emperor party, is a man called Louis. He claims to have the blood of Gustav, the Gustav family, and be a descendant of Roselle. End anywhere? Alright, dope. According to Nicaea's intelligence, some core members of the resolve of the Emperor Party feel that on that day, after the Vortex incident, Louis Gustave became somewhat strange, more mysterious and majestic. He is planning something, and only a few of his confidants in the entire party know what it is. She has a strong desire to express herself and take revenge on society. She volunteered to make contact with one of Gustave's confidants. I plan to ask 007's side to cooperate and create an opportunity for her. Louis in Trier was as common a name as Pierre, Guillaume, and others. Louis nodded and said that, and before he could say anything, Anthony finished preparing the potion and drank it. The taste of the potion was similar to the color of dreams, both complex and chaotic. Louis and others stopped talking, focusing intently on Anthony to safeguard. They saw their teammate's face covered in scales, sometimes becoming bloodless as if his soul had left his body. After a while, Anthony's eyes became dark and then lit up. Actually, I've only been reading for an hour. Let's keep reading for like, I don't know, another 3 or 4 chapters, and then we'll stop, okay? I can directly see the appearance of the spirit world, see the collective subconscious. I can guide the target step by step. I can gradually influence the target by modifying dreams, making them do things they wouldn't. Equivalent to a gentler, more hidden type of hypnosis. Now I can enter dreams directly, hide in dreams, and jump from one dream to another, but the distance can't exceed 500 meters. A form of teleportation whose use is limited by environment and distance. It's called dream traversal, and for me, the spiritual consumption is very small. What do you mean for me, bro? This is my goat saying he's got a large chakra pull? Now everyone at the team is sequence 5 or above, Lumen smiled. A few days later, Anthony was working at the clinic. Near noon, a nurse brought in a patient. It was COI, the young man aspiring to enter politics. Dr. Reed, I've been so much better recently and haven't had nightmares for days, COI said. He still trusted Anthony quite a bit. After all, he had improved his condition before. This is your own victory. You've passed through that stage, Anthony congratulated. My condition improved 4 days ago. That night I was having a nightmare, but then a young girl descended and saved me. She was the most beautiful girl I've ever met, but the memory of that dream is becoming so blurry. Can you find a way for me to remember it, or not to forget her? I'm sorry, but I can't help you with this. Indulging in dreams will lead you back to another extreme. I can't push you to the abyss as a psychiatrist. Goel was silent for a while, then sighed. Alright. The entire crew is now a powerhouse in their own right. Let's go. Quartier de l'Observatoire. Alone in the apartment, Lumen stood at the Blue Avenger, pondering what needed to happen now. The treasure vault of the Blue Avenger, but Mr. Hangman only agreed to let me explore once. Go to the Banshee Harbor to find the problematic place? Just as Lumen thought of this, he half-turned his body and saw Madam Magician. Your reward should be ready to collect today. I'll take you to a place. How high do you think Lumien's team reaches? Okay, so Lumion becomes a great old one. We know this. This is known. This is the fact of life. There are 3 things that are certain. Death, taxes, Lumion becoming a great old one. Okay, all equally likely. Franca, I think, reaches pretty high. I think she goes to like 3. I don't think she reaches angel level. I think she goes to 3. I think she goes Demoness of Despair, 3 if the Hunter pathway becomes a man. Jenna goes the other way. Jenna, because she's going to be lagging behind those 2, actually becomes a sequence 4 of the Hunter pathway. Weird. Weird. I think Anthony stays at 5. I think Anthony gets stuck at a 5. I think he gets stuck at a powerhouse. That's my assumption. I'm gonna go great old one, 3, 4, 5. That is my guess. Oh, I can't type. Oh my god. Oh my god. History? Oh, Lugano and Ludwig? Ludwig, I think, returns to his state as an angel. Lugano is gonna be like 6, maybe 5. If he reaches 5, I'd be very astonished. Oh, fuck. Jesus. Outside the abandoned ancient castle, Madam Magician waiting for LEMMiNO for a while, then following the guidance of spirituality, take a step forward and arrived at a place inside, stopping in front of a vermilion door. 4s as an autistic bitch did the Sheldon Cooper knock. After a few seconds, a relaxed voice came from the inside. "Enter, please." With these words, the vermilion door slowly opened inward. LEMMiNO immediately saw heavy curtains with the sunlight struggling to shine through the gaps, bringing golden light that revealed floating dust. It's the bum bitch Emlyn, isn't it? You're like, I am a fucking Duke of the Sanguine. I'm going, I'm a fucking gasol. Cringe shit. On the other side, unaffected by sunlight, a coffin was quietly placed instead of a bed. Opposite the coffin, near the sunlight, a desk was piled with letters. At this moment, a man wearing loose pajamas sitting in front of his desk, having just put down a fountain pen with a gold nib and a black barrel, folded a paper with words. The man stood up, walked to the door with his back to the sunlight. LEMMiNO, having gained dark vision through the demoness pathway, clearly saw the man's appearance, about 40 years old, average build. Bronskist Mr. Azek! Good afternoon, Mr. Azek, Madam Magician greeted. LEMMiNO spoke in similar words, speaking in ancient Faesak. The middle-aged man, called Azek, seemingly dazed for a moment, as if instantly receiving a large amount of information from the spirit world in his subconscious, nodded and said, "Thank you for your help, allowing me to awaken early and my soul to be healed." It was mainly this young friend who made the contribution, Madam Magician pointed to LEMMiNO. This is Azek Eggers, the son of the death of the 4th Epoch, and the former death consul of the Balam Empire. Son of death, former death consul. LEMMiNO recalled part of the contents of Mr. Fool's church canon. The angel of death who has followed our Lord for the longest time and is the consul of the underworld. Could this be the angel of death? A demoness, Azek glanced. You have the aura of the source of the river Styx. The angel of death referred to the river connecting the two worlds as the source of the river Styx. LEMMiNO was stunned and said, "That's the seal of the underworld Taoist." Underworld Taoist? Azek muttered as if never having heard this name. Magician smiled. "Mr. Azek, we have come to visit you today mainly to inquire about some matters." Azek looked at the corridor outside. "Let's take a walk, talk as we go. This is an important memory from a period of my life." Alright, Madam Magician made way. LEMMiNO and she followed behind Azek. Oh, there's no fucking way I'm ending here. Mr. Azek was presumably the angel of death through the corridor along the stairs. Along the way, ancient wall lamps embedded in the walls lit up, burning with cold, pale white flames. LEMMiNO saw paintings on both sides of the corridor, some of Azek himself, but with more lively expressions. Some even smiling. Some of beautiful ladies with their hairs tied up, and children playing. Azek's gaze slowly swept over these paintings, occasionally lingering, and after a while asked, "What is it you wish to ask of me?" Madam Magician asked straightforwardly, "Mr. Azek, do you know why the primordial demoness sought cooperation with your father, the death of the 4th Epoch? After the War of the 4 Emperors, did you notice any problems with the primordial demoness?" Hearing this question, LEMMiNO was stunned, then realized who better to ask than someone who personally experienced such events. An angel who has lived for over 1,000 years. Madam Magician should be the same, but my intuition tells me she's still quite young. They may be the same in sequence, but they are not the same in aura. Okay, don't ever compare this bum bitch to Isaac. Ever. Isaac recalled for a few moments and said, there was a gap of over 100 years between the end of the Four Emperors War and the beginning of the Pale Disaster. The primordial demoness's arrival was probably in the middle. We don't know exactly what she discussed with my father, only that she declared to us her intention to avenge Elisa Tudor, to make all the 7 gods perish, and to bring the Blood Emperor's deity back to the surface from the underworld Trier. Is this true love? Despite it being 2 against 7, she wanted to avenge him? No. If she wanted to achieve her goal, then it would have meant that the special mirror world would no longer be sealed, able to reveal its problems, but the current primordial demoness sect doesn't seem to have such issues. It even intends to nail the coffin lid more firmly. Also, was it really not the Emperor of the Underworld, that death, who delivered the final blow to Elisa Tudor? The uniqueness of the Red Priest fell to the hands of death, but there's something like the Samaritan women spring under Trier. LEMMiNO was filled with doubts, but didn't interrupt. Without a doubt, the Primordial is the most charming woman of this world. Every being who sees her will be fascinated by her, including me, my brothers and sisters, and even the undead. Even our father was inevitably attracted. Even the undead are attracted to her? There's already a charm at the level of concepts and authorities, Madam Magician sighed. Now that is aura, but like, that is also shit aura though. But like, I'm curious what that means for the demoness sect though, you know what I mean? Or what that means for like the hunter, or for like the Red Priest. Like, you become the embodiment of the concept of war. That's great. What the fuck does that even mean though? What am I... Like, okay, I have complete authority over the concept of, like, error. Oh, like, I can create errors and so many... I can create errors and concepts. Okay, cool. I can do so many things with that. I have complete authority over the concept of fate. I can adjust fate. I can manipulate it to my will. I have complete control over the idea of being an author, over the concept of, like, being a visionary, of being able to envision things. Okay. I get that. What the fuck does it mean when I become the embodiment or the ruler of the concept of war? What am I supposed to do with that? I can wage war? Well, like, a human can wage war. How is that fundamentally any different? Meaning your presence? Well, like, what does that mean? Like, if I show up in a party, everyone just starts throwing shit? What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Was your father, the death of the 4th epoch, bewitched by the primordial demoness when he finally decided to forcibly accommodate the uniqueness of the Red Priest? LEMMiNO had gained some understanding of the connection between death and the uniqueness of the Red Pathway when reading the 001 sealing information, but this was the first time he had clearly encountered the matter. Isaac shook his head. The demoness's instigation should be one of the reasons, but I don't think that was the main, or my father wouldn't have wasted decades to do so. Did you notice anything unusual about her? Every time I encountered her, I would lose my senses. How could I possibly? If there was anything unusual, it was that on a few occasions her charm was a bit weaker than normal. That should have been her deliberately restraining her charm. You become a ruler of chaos and strife. It's tough. But, like, I don't know what that means, though. Like, don't get me... Like, I understand the words you're saying. I'm not saying that, like, when you're reading these, or, like, you're typing these sentences, I'm not understanding them. I get that. I'm thinking about it, like, more conceptually. Like, I don't know, maybe once I've seen it applied in a certain way, it'll click. I don't know if that makes any sense, but, like, Right now, like someone being the embodiment of the concept of war, that just seems so fucking useless. Like everyone is your enemy at all moments in time? That sounds so cancer AIDS. As a demoness, Lumi knew that a demoness' naturally emanating charm and deliberately restraining charm would indeed have different states, but after experiencing the false demoness of Black incident, he suspected there may be other possibilities. Mr. Isaac, do you know about the body of the Phoenix ancestor in the depths of the underworld? Madam Magician asked. Isaac turned his head. My father thought it would be a waste to just destroy the body of a god like that, believing it could serve as a more important purpose, such as helping my father better and more completely control the underworld, or enabling him to possess stronger powers. Those in the death domain will never reject powerful corpses that can be controlled by themselves. My father also mentioned that the body of Gregorius held some secrets. Secrets? He never told me the specifics, only that the story of the ancient sun god killing the Phoenix ancestor was false. Well, more accurately, the process was correct, but the result was wrong. Gregorius was only severely wounded by the ancient sun god, not dying on the spot. She escaped to the southern continent and went into hiding. If Gregorius was truly killed by the ancient sun god, that corpse wouldn't have been obtained by death and appeared in the underworld, unless it was his arrangements. Madam Magician expressed agreement. Similarly, Ormir didn't perish on the spot either, supposedly escaping and managing to pass on his power to his eldest son, the later god of combat, Bedel, before dying. Dude, you fucking loser! You get your father's inheritance and then die to your mommy? Oh my god, cringe lord! Oh god, I hate that guy. Is there any connection to the Amibella matter? The two ancient gods who weren't killed on the spot seem to be related to Amibella. One's corpse is laying eggs and the other incubating. And currently incubating Amibella, and the other is Amibella's husband. Lumen glanced at Madam Magician after obtaining her consent and asked, Mr. Isaac, what is the relationship between Gregorius and Amibella? I was born in the 4th epoch. All I know of the 2nd epoch is what my father has mentioned. Speaking of which, I should give you some reward. As he gently raised his hand, a large number of white bones gushed out of the ground, forming a skeleton. The skeleton handed a shiny gold coin to Mr. Isaac. Is this an acceptable reward? Thank you, Luminix expressed, accepting the coin that bore Mr. Fool's aura. They have all 5 now. Dude, I feel, can I say it? Listen, as much as I love Isaac, and don't get me wrong, I would never say anything negative about him, okay? I love that dude. But like, can I say it? Isaac seems to like wake up, and he's like, oh, I should give you some rewards. Give some stuff away, and then goes back to bed. And then he wakes up a couple years later and he goes, I should give you some rewards. Like, bro, he is burning through. I know he's got to have shit tons of like useful stuff and money, and again, like getting stuff of value is hardly difficult for him, bro. Because he, like anyone of the death pathway ever, can literally just get rolled by Isaac. Isaac can just walk into their presence and they're like, my emperor, I apologize for existing in your vicinity. What can I give you? Like, whatever, right? So, like, getting stuff of value isn't difficult for Isaac by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just funny to see, like, Isaac wakes up and goes, damn, you help me out, I should give you some stuff. And he's just, like, emptying his coffers, like, what the fuck? Madam Magician silently breathed a sigh of relief when she saw Lumen receive the last coin. Though she had roughly confirmed through prophecy and psychological analysis that things would develop this way, and the subject involved an ancient angel, the son of a true god, no one could be certain if things would unfold as expected. Madam Magician produced a small gold bottle inscribed with a mysterious symbol from somewhere and smiled at Azek. Mr. Azek, this is some excess water from the Cimmerian in Women's Spring, produced by some corruption from the power at the source of the river Styx. It has multiple effects, including repairing souls, inducing sleep, and bringing complete death or true dreams. We'd like to ask for your help in making it manifest only one of the two qualities, either inducing sleep or granting lucidity in dreams and enhancing that effect. Repairing souls. Lumion paid no attention to the fact that there was leftover water from what he had collected. His focus was on the repairing souls part. Could this help reverse soul fragments? No problem, Azek said, taking the bottle. Can't they give it to Azek and be like, yo, use this to repair your soul, little bro? I don't know who's gonna call Azek little bro, but you know what I mean. Madam Magician, seeming to sense Lumion's thoughts, explained. The spring water does indeed have the effect of repairing souls, but is limited to repair only. Just as limb regeneration can regrow lost arms and legs, but can't grow a whole new person, that falls under the domain of the Great Mother. She had previously answered that question of what exactly the fake Demoness of Black was, believing that neither she nor one of the most accurate divination results knew the answer. Even some repair effects are good, Lumion said. At this point, a giant snake appeared behind Azek. A pale white flame burned in the snake's eye socket, seeming to have a pair of thick, exaggerated wings on its back, its body covered in large, dark green scales. Although Lumion couldn't clearly see the appearance of each feather and scale on the strange symbols they bore, just directly gazing at the phantom image gave him a sense of rapidly dying. This was damage that mere substitution cannot transfer. Fortunately, the winged snake quickly coiled itself, wrapping layer upon layer upon the golden bottle. Then the terrifying snake faded, instantly shrinking into the bottle, and Lumion returned to normal. Azek handed the bottle back. Anyone who touches the spring water in the bottle will fall into a long sleep, myself included. It will have only a slight effect on true gods, but not much, unless the deity is already weak. If you want someone who has fallen asleep because of this to wake up, you'll need to collect some more water of the Women's Spring and process it in a similar manner, but with the opposite effect, or seek help from a true god. Lumion was not surprised that the spring water would only have a weak effect on true gods. Even the remnant soul of Alista Tudor could occasionally wake up and cause trouble in the river. This might be slightly useful in dream, but it is uncertain. The magician handed the bottle to Lumion. Lumion nodded and placed the bottle into the traveler bag. Thank you for your help. We have achieved all our objectives. Is there anything we can do for you? Azek cast his gaze towards the paintings on both sides. Not at the moment. I've been asleep for many years. I need to walk around and see the changes in the world. Madam Magician didn't say any more and left with Lumion. Before being enveloped by the starlight, Lumion turned his glance and saw the former death console, standing in front of an oil painting, wordlessly caressing its surface. Love that guy. In the evening, except for Lugano, who was informed he would have a period of a vacation to arrange freely, Lumion, Franca, Jenna, Anthony, and Ludwig all gathered together in the apartment. Madam Magician, wearing a cream-colored high-collar dress with gold embroidery and a wide-brimmed hat, stood at the window and said to the 5 lucky coin holders, I must emphasize again the potential risks. Harsh, how's it going, man? In Mr. Fool's dream, if you die, you will die in reality. If you lose control or go mad, you will do so in reality. If you are corrupted by the celestial worthy or another entity, you will suffer it in reality. If you develop psychological illnesses or emotional fluctuations, your body will bear the problem. Mere injury or fatigue has little effect, though. You can quickly recover by leaving the dream or briefly waking up. In that dream, you can use all your abilities, but their effects will be limited to the level of a sequence 7. The essence of this limitation is that Mr. Fool's self-awareness is not yet recovered. In other words, in Mr. Fool's dream, if the dream realizes that beyond your abilities can achieve effects corresponding to sequence 6, your level will go to that sequence. Similarly, except for special items like the spring water, your other equipment is essentially derived from your consciousness and limited. I'm good too, Harsh. I'm good too, man. Alright, I feel like this chapter will be a good place to end, assuming they don't actually get into it. The good news is that those hostile entities and Beyonders, driven by the Celestial Worthy, will be subject to the same restrictions, but however, the Celestial Worthy can manage the dream to some extent. Unless it is the final moment, you'd better avoid him and have no contact with him. At this moment, Lumin raised a question. In the dream, what identity and form does the Celestial Worthy exist in? If we knew that, the previous coin holders would have been kicked out so quickly. Confirming his identity is a key point. Now, you can make your own choices. Are you willing to hold Mr. Fool's coin and enter his dream in an attempt to awaken him? If you are unwilling, we will not force you, but you will need to follow the guidance of spirituality and pass on the coin as soon as possible. If you are willing, then the matter is concluded. Whether Mr. Fool wakes up or not, we will reward you generously. I got no issues, Lumin said. Me neither. Frank and Jenna followed. The only hesitant one was Ludwig, the little boy. Finally, he looked at Frank and Jenna and said, I'm willing to go to the dream. Though the food eaten in the dream is fake and illusory, at least there's no studying. Franca, who had already digested the affliction potion, glanced amusingly and said, this child really is pretty fucking dumb. As soon as I heard Madam Magician's description, I came to a conclusion. If you digest a potion and the dream, it'll happen in reality. Let's tell Ludwig this fact after we enter the dream. At this moment, Magician nodded and said, I am glad you have made this choice. Let me remind you, once again, try not to delay being kicked out of the dream as much as possible. Once you have been kicked out more than 3 times, subsequent entries will either result in immediate ejection or complete restriction, leaving you as mere observers. Yes, madam, Lumin and the others said. Specks of starlight fell enveloping them, and in the blink of an eye, they appeared outside an ancient, luxurious villa. This is also in Trier. Choose your own rooms, but don't be next to each other, in case one person is discovered and the effects are nearby. Alright. After Franca and Lumin and the others had settled into their rooms, Magician said to them, Now, go to bed and sleep while holding your coin. That's all it takes? No, this is the first step. Miss Justice will intervene later. Lumin and the others didn't ask further and returned to their room, gripping their coins, laying down on their firm yet springy beds and covering themselves with blankets that smelled of sunshine. I gotta imagine Derek just came by to just bless this blankets or whatever, and they're like, damn, it smells like sunshine in here. True good use of a demigod, maybe an angel's powers. All right, guys. Let's end stream here. I'm gonna start another stream like right away for Outer Wilds. Not too long, probably like a little over an hour for Outer Wilds or so, and we'll call it, okay? All right. If you guys want to stay for that, I appreciate you, and that stream should be up in like 2 minutes, okay? Yep. All right. If not, I'll see you guys not tomorrow. I'll see you guys Monday, okay? No stream tomorrow. Bye, guys.